Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Peter Katz, CEO of the Mountain View Chamber of Commerce, and welcome to the latest episode of Back to Business. This is our series of webinars that deal with all sorts of issues to hopefully help our businesses and help our community get back on its feet during these difficult times. Today, we are pleased to have two separate but related sections that are really geared towards tools for survival. The next month especially is going to be particularly difficult, what with the holidays, the cold weather, and of course the new restrictions that have been introduced. So we're pleased to have Tiffany Chu from the city's Economic Development Department to talk about some of the outdoor restrictions and outdoor guidelines that are in place. And we have Sarah Astles of Opal Event Center and also the president of the Downtown Association to talk about some strategies that you may want to think about in terms of getting through these times. So without further ado, let me hand it over to Tiffany.
Thank you, Peter, and thanks for having me. I am here to provide an update to businesses on getting through the next couple of weeks with this new stay-at-home order the county county and the state has provided to us. First of all, what I'm going to do after I talk is I'm going to put in a couple of links into the chat box with information. I'm going to hold it up on my screen about the new mandatory directives that the county has put through in terms of capacity limitations, but then they also did update their mandatory directives for outdoor dining. So I can't multitask right now and I can only focus on the webinar, but once I am done providing the updates, I'll make sure to pop those links into the chat box so that you all have the most updated information. So what are we doing now, because outdoor dining is prohibited through January 4th, 2021, is for downtown, we are asking that businesses at a minimum, put away their chairs and tidy up their outdoor space, just so that it doesn't encourage outdoor dining and other people to linger and loiter in the downtown. Because as you know, restaurants are only allowed to do takeout and delivery. And we also took away the picnic tables that some of the businesses were borrowing. We will bring them back though, once we know that outdoor dining will be allowed again. When it's allowed, we'll have staff come back out and put them back where they were. And then also, we are asking businesses to keep the side street parking spaces open so that it's available for takeout and delivery. It's an easy way for people to access your business. We also have the 24-minute parking spaces in all of the lots and structures available for takeout and delivery. And overall, just remind your employees to park keep the closest parking spaces available for your customers. I think particularly now, it'll be a more important time to keep those parking spaces available. And then for businesses outside the downtown, please put away your chairs, and same message applies that we do not want to encourage outdoor dining. So if you could put them away, but you may want to consider just removing the equipment off the parking spaces so that once again, businesses have easy parking to your business. So if you have any questions related to this, happy to have a follow-up conversation with you. Also, I just want to give a plug to COVID testing. It's happening next week at the Center for Performing Arts and also the following week. So if you need more information, please visit the city website for that as well. And so, we are in conversations with the county as we move forward and making sure that businesses have the appropriate information. So, once again, if you need help and with clarifying what's out there, do let us know and we can help you connect with the appropriate person. So I'm going to put some links in the chat box just to help with that. And so those are the updates as staff is monitoring the situation very closely, so that as updates come around, we will adjust. But at this point, as I said earlier, outdoor dining is prohibited through January 4th of next year. And so let me put in a couple of links. So the first link is on, oops. So the first link is for the mandatory directive on capacity limitations. This is for all businesses. How many people businesses can have indoors if they are allowed to operate indoors. And then also I am going to link the updated information for dining. Because I think that is also another new, important piece of information. And as you see behind me, staff did, kudos to our Parks Department staff for putting up ambient lighting out in the evening time, so that it helps create a bit more of an ambiance. And we will keep these we will keep the lighting up at least through February. We'll see how things go through the winter time. And how we can use this as the street remains closed. And as a reminder, the street closure will stay in effect 14 calendar days after the state of emergency. So the state of emergency continues, and we will keep the street closure along those lines. Do we have any questions or any clarification that I can provide?
If you have any questions, please enter them into the chat box.
Well, the lights look wonderful.
Thank you.
And so are the other decorations throughout downtown.
Yes.
Like the ones behind the chamber. Very cute.
Yeah, actually, let me put a plug in to what our Parks Department did. They do have quite a bit of holiday events for people who are interested. Let me also put that link into the chat box. Things to do during these next couple of months. So let me find that as well.
So one other thing I'd like to add is that what's happening in Mountain View is happening all over Santa Clara County, and what's happening in Santa Clara County is happening all over the state. And one of the things that the county is trying to do is to bring us in line with state ordinances. In the past, there's been a tendency for Santa Clara to be a little bit different than other areas, even in the Bay Area. Now we are all in. Now that we're all in purple and things have gotten to where they are, we actually in Santa Clara County are more in concert with the rest of the state. One area where we are still different is in the travel ban, in that if you do go more than 150 miles out of the area, you do have to quarantine. The other part is with hotel restrictions. Just to be clear, hotels right now can't house anyone except for emergency personnel, first responders, or patients that have been brought over from hospitals. And this is true whether or not you have traveled the 150 miles. That was clarified today. So just want to make those pieces clear. The other thing that's going to be happening in the next few weeks is that we hope to see the first of the vaccines roll out. Again, those will go to those most in need, to first responders and those most vulnerable. But look for more information from the chamber and from the county and the city for more information in terms of how things are going to roll out over the next several months, because this will be not just a one-shot deal kind of process. The last thing I want to say before we move over to Sarah is that I want to encourage everyone, of course, to shop local. And just because you may not be able to eat at a restaurant inside or outside, even though you may not be able to go and have more than 10% occupancy in certain businesses or 20% occupancy in others, they still need your business. And the wonderful thing about the Mountain View Marketplace is that so many of them now have an online presence. We all know how much you want to support our local businesses, so we always encourage to shop local, shop safely. It's shop.ilovemv.org. We'll get you right there. Please take full advantage of it. So with that, let me hand it over to Sarah.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining, and hopefully some more people can tune in later for this. Those that don't know me, I've owned a business in downtown Mountain View for 16 years, Opal Event Center, and we do corporate, private, and social events. With social events, that included dancing on the weekends. Other events included large groups. So as you can imagine, an industry that's pretty horribly hit by COVID. So when I talk about these ideas, it's because I've experienced them. It's things I've had to play with in my mind and figure out, because I'm right there with you for those of you feeling the pain from COVID. I'm also, my background before being a small business owner, I've owned 3 small businesses in different industries. Before that, I was a corporate financial analyst. So my job was to analyze expenses and revenue for, I was with Paramount Pictures and then a subsidiary of Apple Computer. So I understand numbers. And so I can come with owning a small business with a bit of that corporate experience. And so that's kind of what I want to share with you today, is some ways to analyze the best path to move forward. I know a lot of you, I talk to a lot of you regularly, for those that are tuning into downtown and even throughout the city. I feel and I hear the despair. It's, you're worried about your families, how much longer can you go on like this? What about the families of your staff? What are you going to do if you have to close? How much longer is this going to last? And we can just get inundated in the muck. And so what I want to share today is a way to maybe come out with some clarity and intention, so that you can have a little peace of mind from having a plan. That's what's really helped me get through this. I know exactly how long I'm going to hang in, what I'm expecting to lose with that amount of time. And then I could just okay, now everything else, I can build up the business to be as strong as I can for when we do open. And so I'm hoping throughout this, maybe you'll get a little bit of peace of mind with getting a plan. We can start with saying, you can pick one of 3 paths right now. You can stay open, if the guidelines allow it, that is, and that's in any form. Maybe that's a hybrid where you're only selling things on the marketplace and you close your online shop, whatever that looks like, some form of staying open. You can completely hibernate. Say, you know what? We're going to close the doors, save as much money as we can, and use this time to really beef up our business. So when we do open, we come back stronger. Or you can close permanently. And we've read the stats on how many of you are looking at this option, which is devastating. But at the same time, you don't want to throw good money after bad, and you need to do that analysis. And I'm not saying that's not the best choice. Maybe it is, but let's figure out the numbers. Let's figure out if that truly is the best path. So the first step in figuring this out is to understand your numbers. And I know, talking to my business neighbors over the years, I would guess probably about 50% of you have a pretty good handle on it. And maybe the other 50% is nope, I'm just going to give my credit card statements and my bank statements to my accountant at the end of the year, and they can figure it out. And don't be afraid of numbers. Don't. I treat it like a fun strategy game, and there's ways you can make it easy and fun. So when I say understand your numbers, we can really break that down into 5 areas. The expenses if you stay open, the expense is if you close, the revenue you can get if you can stay open, if you're allowed to. We're going to look at a future revenue forecast, and we're going to determine the value of your business. Once we look at all those things, we can do an analysis and figure out the best step forward. So best way to figure out your expenses, if you're not doing it already, is a program like QuickBooks. There are free competitors to QuickBooks. I'll put one in the notes in the chat right now, because QuickBooks is, mine just renewed and it was $215 for the year. The one I just put up is free. I think they try to make their money after credit card processing, so the accounting version is free. Now, all these programs will allow you to download your bank statements. Here's a in the chat. I like QuickBooks because my accountant knows how to use it. I pay her by the hour. I don't want her fumbling around with another accounting software trying to figure out how to do a journal entry for me or depreciation in a program she's not familiar with. The QuickBooks link I just gave will give you 50% off for 6 months, which makes it $11.25 a month for their simple start. That's what I use. So what I do is every 2 weeks, I just put download on my expenses and I categorize everything. The reason why I encourage you to do this is not only for the analysis we're about to talk about, because you can find errors. Sometimes my employees accidentally use their business card for personal reasons and catch it right away, or something looks a little fishy. So it kind of forces me to look at every number. And at the end of the year, it's done. My accountant can do my taxes in about an hour and a half. She's amazing. I only pay her $350. So for the effort I put into QuickBooks right now, I save a lot of money in the end. So I encourage you definitely to use accounting software. So what you're going to do is once you get all that, and if you haven't used it yet, you can go back and update the last 6 months, to get a really good handle on what your expenses are while you're open. And what you're going to do is you're going to look at it by month. Go line by line and figure out what you can eliminate if you close. This will help with the analysis of, do you hibernate or do you stay open? I'm going to give you some ideas for things that you can eliminate if you hibernate. Workers' comp, for example. If you're keeping any of your employees on, you can change their classification code. If they're not stepping into your kitchen or into your shop, if they're just working from home, you get a much cheaper rate. I just got my workers' comp audit actually, and for the amount of time we were closed, when I was paying my employees and they weren't doing any work, it asked for that number. I think they're going to completely waive that, which is awesome. That's a nice bonus for those of you that didn't realize that. General liability insurance. You can save a lot of money here. If you're closed, get an interim policy. Mine, I think I'm paying about 1/5 what I normally do because I'm meeting the qualifications of the landlord. I still have a $2 million aggregate, but I'm paying about 1/5 of what we normally pay because I don't have any customers in the venue. Imagine wiping out your cleaning supplies and janitorial, your music license rights. For those of us that play music for the public, we're paying 3 companies. That's expensive. You don't have to pay that if you're closed. Your internet, downgrade your speeds. Utilities, obviously, is going to be less. You can cut your trash collection. You need to make sure you tell Recology, don't just cancel it. Tell Recology, hey, put my billing on hold. I'm closing. They won't do it unless you say that. You can negotiate lower pricing with your vendors. I know a lot of us were stuck in the contracts. I'm stuck in quite a few myself, so my monthly expenses are still pretty high, but I was able to negotiate a little bit, saying, hey, we're not touching your dishwasher, even though we're leasing it. Can we bring that cost that down a little bit? Maybe you can negotiate a little further with your landlord. I've kind of done informal surveys around town, and I hate to put this out there, but I will, just so you can kind of gauge where you're at. Landlords on average are cutting rent in about half right now. If you're not there, negotiate hard. They're going to want you in there paying a fraction as opposed to nobody in there and it's sitting vacant for a while. If you're doing better than that, I know some of you are, that's awesome. Maybe if you close, you can negotiate even further. So what you're going to do is you're going to, look at those expenses by month and figure out what you can save. It's going to be part of the puzzle. So revenue forecast. This is the next piece. I always, when I do a revenue forecast, do your high, medium, and low forecast. Hope I'm not losing you all with this numbers talk, but trust me, you'll have fun with it once you get into it and kind of make a game out of it. So a high revenue forecast, what I'm doing, I use the numbers pre-COVID. I think that's about as high as we're going to get. So someday when I can open again, that's going to be my high number. A medium number, I'm cutting it by quite a bit because part of my business relied on rock by traffic. And I think it's going to be a long, long time. It could be a few years before we get our office workers back to the extent that we got them. Low forecast, maybe cut your pre-COVID revenue in half and figure it out with that. Next piece of the numbers puzzle I mentioned earlier is, what is your business worth? This is important because as you're figuring out what your bottom line, your revenue less your expenses, how much money are you going to be making? That's going to translate into the value of your business. Value is, your business is only worth the revenue that it creates. The average business will sell for 2 times the amount you take home each year. So the average is 1 to 3 times. So if you have a lot of goodwill, like, some that's been around for a while, like Don Giovanni's, let's say, he's got a lot of customers. His business might be worth a little more. Grapevine, people recognize that name. If you have old equipment or new equipment, that's going to change the value of your business. So, if you don't know, pick 2 times. So what are you going to be making at the end of the year? Multiply that by 2. Roughly, that's the value of your business. So now you put that all together, and you have to make the best decision based on those numbers. And that you can at least relax in knowing that is the best you can do because you have a handle on it. So for me, I'm losing a lot of money each month, but I know I'm going to give it another 12 months of losing money. I know exactly what that calculates to. And if I can lose less than that, excellent. At least I know, at least I have a plan. At least I know when I'm going to go in the hole. It's not just, oh no, what's going to happen? What's this going to look like? So I definitely encourage you to do that. Some bonuses while hibernating is you can make your business, don't be like, oh no, we're closed. Look at it like, how can I make my business better than ever for when I open? The city is sending out, hopefully you're on the list, the Mountain View business newsletter has some amazing links. The Chamber's business resource email that they send out regularly, again, has some amazing links. If you haven't checked it out already, look at their resilience kit. I'm gonna put it in the chat. You should all have it. Amazing resources. Go through that one by one. How to get on social media, how to get on Google, all of those things. You all need to know that. I know from talking to you, a lot of you don't have those basics down. Everybody is online these days and you have to get online. But I know when you're running your business day to day, you just don't have time. If you hibernate, you're going to have the time. Force yourself to learn these tools. Force your, if you're retail, how can you sell online? If you're personal professional service, how can you market yourself? What are the key words to use if somebody is typing in, oh, I need an architect, my hair done. What are the key words? Google will tell you how to do that. Google has something, and this was listed in the city's email, it's called Grow with Google. They make it super easy. Just go through their step-by-step tutorials, learn everything. Google also has something called analytics. You need to know how people are finding you, and they make it really easy. You can chart it every which way. Where are they coming from? What pages do they go to? How long do they spend on each page? You need to have this handle on your business. There's amazing design tools out there like Canva. Learn how to use it so you can make fun little brochures. So when you do use social media, you have some fun little ads to put up that were really fun to create and easy and free. So again, I just encourage you all to think about, okay, maybe I'm hibernating, but how can I come back? The last piece I want to share is, does your business need a redesign? I've been wanting to turn some of the planning department for my conditional use permit for Opal, and I keep rewriting it. What do we want to be? What are we going to do? They want you to be really specific, and that's so hard to figure out right now. At Opal, we were doing a wine bar. Well, without a lot of street traffic, it's going to take a ton of marketing. We're going to have to do something else in addition to that. We're going to have some fun events and activities. If office workers are working from home, maybe they need to meet and have a place to have offsites and have that camaraderie. What are things going to look like post-COVID, and how can you sculpt your business to compensate for that? It might not be business as usual for a long time. So if you're a restaurant, what can you do? Can you host businesses that may be letting go of their office space to work there for regular meetings? Can you sell things? The city is going to become a lot more flexible in what they're allowing us to do in our space, and we're going to need it. So start brainstorming like that. As you're brainstorming, research ways to make that doable. And I want to just wrap up with saying, don't be afraid to ask for help. Talk to your other business neighbors that are doing the same thing. If you see like, Grapevine, they're always busy for brunch. How the heck are they doing that? Go ask Majid, he's awesome. Get to know your business neighbors, shake hands with them. When I first opened my business, it operates a nightclub in the evening. I had no idea how to run a nightclub. I didn't know liquor. I didn't know anything. I was never a nightclub person. Wanted it for the investment. I just asked people and they're really happy to help. And this is the time where it's going to be pulling through with your neighbors, sharing ideas. There's free professional support too, like SCORE, Alice, where you can look online for business professional support. You can get free consultations right now pretty easily. Chamber, Downtown Business Association, you can reach out to us if you need ideas. Really happy too if we get enough feedback from this. Maybe we want to form, little committees where we share ideas and bounce ideas off each other. Hey, do you think this would work in downtown? Do you think this would work in the El Camino area? We can have some brainstorming sessions like that to help us out, because it is a major rethink of how we're going to do business. Don't expect it to look the same. We know Google's not coming back for a while. We know these small offices got really comfortable with working from home. And a lot of our town relies on those office workers. So rethink things, rethink that as you're valuing your business. I'm always available. I'm gonna put my email in the chat as well. And feel free to email me too if you wanna run your numbers by me or an idea. I'm happy to help. There you go. So thank you everybody for listening. Sorry that was a lot, and it was a lot of number stuff. Happy to help you play with it and reach out anytime. Thanks. Oops, you're on mute, Peter.
There we go. I'm just perusing the questions here. I'm not seeing any pop up at this point. I'm going to add in the link for the, oh, I'm sorry, it's just appeared, the newsletter sign up. There it is. Okay, great. So, last call for questions. Okay,
I think
I do want to give.
I put in just went to the panelists, so I'll have to redo them to the attendees. I'm not sure.
It's okay, Sarah. I copied them.
Thank you.
No problem. You were on a roll.
Thanks, Courtney. I always have them covered.
And I'm also putting
Thank you, Courtney.
a link to our biz newsletter too.
Wonderful. So again, I just want to stress to our viewers that resources are there, but you kind of have to ask. And we welcome questions, we welcome information, we welcome collaboration. It's all good. And in the spirit of collaboration, one of the other things that's happening is regarding the marketplace, we were going to have lawn signs available next week that you can place out. So instead of or next to, support our schools, you can have another sign that says support our businesses, support local, shop locally. And also we'll have versions that you can place in your window as well. And so we encourage that spreading the word, and of course, spreading the word on social media, putting things on Nextdoor. There's all sorts of things you can do to help spread the word. It really, really helps. I also want to thank Facebook for sponsoring our series. And with that, I think we will call it an afternoon. Thank you, everyone.